Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how I prepare for the new year as far as curriculum, how I figure out what I'm going to buy, where I'm going to buy, what curriculums are working, what curriculums aren't, you know, just the process of where my mind takes me when I'm trying to plan for a new year. So basically how I start off is I think about the curriculums that we are using, what is working and what is not working. So I basically have a list of our subjects. So Bible, language, reading, science, history, an elective, math. So I have like an ongoing list for both the kids. And throughout the year, if I see something online or if I see like an advertisement for a specific curriculum, I will research that curriculum and kind of see if I like it. I will have a list in one of my notepads. I have a million notebooks, you guys, but I will have like a list of contestants, basically contenders that I'm going to choose from. So once I have that list, so basically say I'm looking, I have my notes so I don't get sidetracked, but say I have Bible. We've used a Becca Bible since the beginning. I love it. It teaches, I mean, it's so biblically sound that it teaches directly from the Bible, but it teaches it in a way to where the kids can understand. And then if it references back to the Bible so you can read the Bible. So it has like two corresponding lessons. So you have the lesson through the curriculum and then you have the Bible lesson that you read through the Bible, and it just matches up so well. But the lesson that you read through Becca breaks it down so well for the kids to understand. And I've talked about that curriculum on my channel many a times. So you guys have probably heard it like too many times from me. But now how they do theirs is they like cycle out the different books of the Bible. So one year you do 10 different books, the next year you do 10 other books, and then you go kind of back and forth, right? So you're continually reviewing those specific books of the Bible, so it sticks. So you catch things that you didn't catch maybe the first time you read it, and as you're growing older, you are, you know, absorbing more and more information from those books of the Bible, which I really love. It's kind of like a spiral teaching, I guess, in a way. So I am going to be continuing with my Becca, but I do want to add in some other components. And I was adding them in just on Fridays. I don't want to do it that way. I kind of want to go back and forth. I'm not quite sure how. But for instance, I will be using Becca still because I love it, but I will also be adding in new components to our curriculum. So for instance, I will be writing down a Becca for Bible, but then I will research different supplemental Bible things that I want to go along with that. Now for me, I'm continuously buying new books and supplements and things for the homeschool room. So I am going to go through my own library before kind of branching out and spending more money. So I will be doing that this year. So that's something that you guys can think about doing. Maybe you've touched on a book that you never finished and you want to go back to that book, or especially if you don't have the funds this year to spend, or, you know, maybe you wanted to get to a book and you didn't quite get to that book. So start that book next year. That may be what I'm doing this coming up year. I'm not sure yet. I kind of am going back and forth in my mind because I always like new things. You know what I mean? It's so hard. So, but just figure out what's working and what's not and go from there. So for an instance, science. We have tried all different science curriculums. I have not been really happy with any of them. We did a Becca. I mean, nothing's wrong with them. They were just not a good fit for us. Okay, so a Becca is a great curriculum all the way around. I love how they teach, what they teach. But for us, science just wasn't a good fit. So we moved on to Apologia. I liked Apologia. I really enjoyed their book. The kids did. I didn't like how it was only one topic for the whole year. So we worked through astronomy the whole entire year. And I feel like that kind of got daunting for me. The kids enjoyed it because they love space, but it kind of just got daunting. And you only finish one subject or one topic a year. So I felt like if you don't stick with that, it's going to be hard to catch up on some of the other science topics that you need. So after that, we did the good and the beautiful. I really liked how they had the multiple different topics that you can do, because they were shorter spans of time. So they were more like unit studies, which I really enjoyed. I just felt like they were lacking in some things. So that one didn't work either. I don't know if I'm picky about science. I'm not a big science fan, so that might be it too. So last year I just decided, you know what, we're gonna do unit studies. I'm gonna prepare them. I'm gonna write them up, type them up in my little workbooks, and we're just gonna do that. So we worked through weather and natural disasters. And honestly, I think it was my favorite year of science. We went through so many different books. We got to watch different documentaries. I just really enjoyed it. So we were trying to do human body as well, but natural disasters lasted longer. I wasn't so crazy about like getting so much done at one time. So we will still have human body for next year. So with me thinking about science, I have to keep that in mind. So one, I can't have a full year curriculum. So that meaning, say I wanted to do Apologia again, that is a full year curriculum. It's like full. There's no trying to save time there. I feel, if I could remember correctly, it's hard to kind of like spread the timing out. Do you know what I mean? It's a pretty full curriculum. So I need to find something that isn't super intense, that I can manipulate a little bit, that I can change around, that I can make it our own. So with that in mind, that is when I start researching. I look up different science curriculums. I look online through Google. I do YouTube. Then I watch flip-throughs or I watch reviews. Now, reviews can be really good, but you have to keep in mind that we're all different. We all school different. We all like things different. So my reviews on my channel may not be your reviews of a specific curriculum. Do you know what I mean? So I like putting reviews out for you guys, but on the other hand, my reviews may not mean anything to you because we just look at things differently, or we teach differently, or our kids learn differently. So keep that in mind when you are watching reviews. I think they are helpful, especially when they're kind of talking more about the curriculum and not about, you know, like what was not good for us. Do you know what I mean? If that makes sense. So you can kind of pick and choose the information that you take from, you know, the channels that you're watching, including mine. And so that's what I do. I watch videos, I watch reviews, I watch flip-throughs. I love flip-throughs. I think that's the easiest way for me to kind of get an idea of what the curriculum's like. I also will go to that website and try to look through some of their samples. Those can be tricky. Some are really good, some aren't so good. And then with that in mind, I kind of have a budget of how much I'm going to spend. Now, I used to not budget, and now I'm finding everything is so expensive. I have to budget. So, you know, I look at their website and then I start looking on like different Facebook groups, or I go to eBay. And the good thing with eBay is you can contact that seller and kind of message them. So for me, this year, I actually started purchasing a few of my items, and I've contacted the sellers and just said, you know, hey, I'm a homeschooling mom as well, or I homeschool, and it's really important that these books don't have answers or writing in it, or even like erased writing, because, you know, you want to be clear that you don't want any of that in your books. You don't want highlighting or anything like that. So I've been pretty lucky. The few things that I have gotten are in really great shape. I'm really happy with them. Now, they are used, but for me, I'm just going to disassemble the books and I'm going to bind them, because the front covers seem to be probably the worst. So I'm going to laminate the front covers and then I'm just going to bind them, you guys. And I feel like that'll keep it intact for my son, because I'm holding on to everything for him. That's another way to save money. If you have multiple kids and you're homeschooling, save it if you can. Okay, so that's basically what I do when I'm looking. Like I look at the actual store, or I'm sorry, the website, and I see, okay, it's $100 on the website. eBay selling it for $90. Is it really worth the $10 for the hassle? For me, it wouldn't be. $20, $25 and up, definitely worth the hassle. That's $25, and then if you're adding it all together per kid, per book or curriculum, I'm telling you, that is worth the money, you guys. It's worth the hassle and it's worth the extra time. Happy I wrote this down because I almost forgot. Now, when I'm thinking about the curriculums that aren't working, I also think about the other kids in my family that are using different curriculums that are working for them. So that would be something I would definitely check into as well, especially if the two kids are very similar in their learning styles. So say one kid is doing Abeka and one kid is doing Apologia, and you're not liking Abeka, but your other kid is really enjoying Apologia, and they're very similar in how they learn and in how they like school, definitely try Apologia for your other kiddo. And some websites actually give you like free samples to start to see if you like the curriculum or not, if it's a good fit or not. If that's something that would interest you to do, make sure you check that out as well, because that could save you money. Now, obviously, if things are working really well for you, different subjects, like for, say, our Abeka language, I'm going to continue using that. I don't even bother looking at anything else just because I don't want the temptation of something looking super pretty and super wonderful, and then I change it and it's not. Stick with what you know, stick with what you like. Unless, you know, prices go up or you can't afford it or there's some reason why that's not going to work out. But if something's working really well, why change it? One thing I will say about Abeka, their prices, you guys, just keep climbing. I know everything is climbing and I know how expensive it can be. So that is something that I have really been working hard at trying to figure out how I'm saving money. I wish I could do a video on that, but I don't know if it'd be too specific. Do you know what I mean? To like just me. I'll think about it and see if I can figure out a way to help you save money if you do order some of your stuff through Abeka, or any curriculum for that matter. No, I think it's mostly Abeka. Yeah, I think it might be too, you know, like for us, I'm kind of getting off topic, but for those of you who are with Abeka, you know how you can buy different packages, like you can buy the full grade curriculum with books and video, or you can just buy the full grade video led, and it doesn't come with any of their books, the kids' books, but it comes with just tests and I think your video manual. Or you can do just like a specific subject video package or subject video and books package. You can buy things on the side. So I have literally been working numbers, figuring out what makes sense. The hardest thing with Abeka is they don't let you save a lot of money if you do it certain ways. They've made it to where it's almost cheaper and easier just to buy it in a full pack. But for me, because I've been doing Abeka for so long, I kind of know what I need and what they send and what everything is. Like if I were to try to do this my first year, there's no way I would have even known what I was doing. But now that I've been doing it so long, I can figure out like, okay, if I'm saving 20 on this and 30 on this and 50 on this, like it adds up. I know I was working numbers and I think I'm saving a couple $100, and that's a lot, because then it can purchase another curriculum. Do you know what I mean? From another company or eBay, or you know what I mean? So I wish I could do a video on that. Man, I really wish. Okay. Anyways, but there are ways to save money through Abeka. So you just have to sit down and kind of go on the computer or look through your catalog. Make sure you have a new catalog for this coming up school year, because the prices have changed. I think everything has gone up like a few bucks on every single thing. So make sure you have the new one if you're doing it that way. Real quick, I like doing it online when I'm adding, because I add stuff to the cart and I let them figure out how much it is. And then you can even go to like checkout and see how much it would be if you were going to do the 10-month payment plan. And so I like kind of playing around with that, but I also like having my catalog because it's way easier to look through than online, their website. So I would suggest using a new catalog. And then if you want like perfect numbers, I would go online and add it in that way. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on, you guys. Sorry about that. Another thing that I do when I am trying to figure out our curriculum is I have just a piece of paper. This is Tally's. I have all of her subjects here and ideas of who I want to go with, okay? And then I just start narrowing it down. And then I put on here who we are going with. So I make multiple lists, okay? Okay, so I made this form to fill out for our curriculum just to kind of keep track what we are going to be using. You do not need this form. You can definitely just write it in a notebook. This is included in my homeschool planner pack PDF download. But basically it's a column for your subject, curriculum, ordered, received, and price. So basically I would write Abeka here. Curriculum would be Bible. If I ordered it, I would either put the date or like a check. I would check it when I received it and I would write the price just to kind of keep a running total of what I'm going to be spending, because you can definitely like go way and above you really wanted to. You know, language arts would be one that I could put on here. So I just kind of keep a running list. You can do it this way once you order it, and then you can just have a regular list like I've been keeping of the kids. So like language, I wrote, you know, Abeka. Arithmetic, you'd write who you want. Bible, science, you'd write who your ideas of what curriculums you want to use, and then once you check them out, you just cross them off, you know what I mean, and say that is the specific one you want to go with. So say Bible, I had Abeka, and say I had I don't know, My Father's World, okay? So say under a Bible I had Abeka and My Father's World. So we were already using Abeka. I know how I like it, so I would check out My Father's World. If My Father's World was the one that I wanted to go with, I would cross out Abeka. I'd go to my actual list and write where the subject, curriculum, ordered, and all that is. I would write the information there just to kind of keep track of what I'm doing. Especially if you have multiple kids, you tend to forget. Well, I do. I only have 2 kids and I forget. So that is something else that I do just to kind of keep track of where I'm at, what I'm thinking, what I need to do next. Because if you're like me, you can't sit down and do it all day long and have it done. Like, you have home life to take care of and stuff, so you kind of have to like do it on one day, and then maybe a few days later you work on it for a couple hours. All right, so now that I've explained what I do when I want to change curriculum, if there's something that is working well, I stick with it. So for instance, history, we really love NOTGRASS. My daughter really loves it, so we're probably sticking with NOTGRASS for history. I do like to still see what is coming up next. I like to do flip throughs and stuff like that. For me, I already know what books are next because I used it for my oldest niece and I did history with her. So I already know what we're up for the next year. But if I didn't, I would go online, I would watch flip throughs. Same thing you're doing when you're researching for a new curriculum, just to kind of get a feel for what's coming up. Also, like for instance with NOTGRASS, they just have like a spread of grades. So basically for 5th grade to 8th grade, you have 3 different sets of books that you can work through. It's American history, world history, and civics. So then you want to sit down and figure out, that I like to figure out ahead of time. Thinking that I'm going to like that curriculum, I kind of like to have a long plan. Do you know what I'm saying? Not just for that year, but I like to look ahead. So basically for 5th grade, I would choose a specific book, and you can either do that in 1 year, you could do it in 2 years because they're 2 really thick books. And then for 6th grade, I would figure out, oh, okay, we'll do this for 6th grade and maybe 7th grade. And then 8th grade, we're gonna do this one. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I like to do that. I still like to research. I still like to plan it out. I feel like it makes it easier, and you kind of have like an idea of what's to come instead of like having no idea for the next year. Sometimes that happens. You just roll with it. Just jump on researching and looking through things. But that's basically how I figure out how I'm going to plan next year. And that's it. but I think I'm pretty in tune with how we're doing next year. There are a couple subjects where I'm still not completely certain. I have been purchasing, I've been stocking up on the new curriculum, so I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to get notified whenever I have new uploads, make sure you hit the little bell that's below this video, and that will let you know whenever I upload a new video. So you'll just get a notification. If this was helpful to you, or if you just enjoyed hanging out with me, make sure you guys hit that like and leave me a comment, because I love to hear from you guys. I love to know who's watching and hanging out with me. But that's it, you guys. So be safe, be blessed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.